والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a new episode of Ask Huda. I'm your host, Fuad Muhammad, and today we welcome on the show from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Shaikh Assim Al-Hakeem. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh, and it's a pleasure having you on Ask Huda today.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you for having me.
Okay, just a quick reminder to the viewers, we will not be taking any telephone calls today, and because the program is all dedicated towards answering your emails, so you can keep sending those emails at us, that's ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, we start off with a very difficult and heavy question. It's very sad. The email is very long because the sister, she says, I've been married for the past 7 years. I have 2 kids, a boy who is 7 and a girl who is 7 and a boy who is 3 years old. She says, my relationship with my husband is very rocky from the very first day because of the intervention of his parents. She says he gets angry at every little thing. She says at the beginning she was trying to keep quiet, but then he goes to physical abuse. She said, sometimes I'm not able to take the physical abuse, and I react to his physical abuse because I'm pregnant, and during my pregnancy, I seem to get angry very quickly. She says, but when I react to his physical abuse, he blames me. He even used statements like, you eat my food and you react to and you abuse me. And she also says, subhanallah, she says that my husband has been keep pronouncing talaq or divorce quite often, and she says he keeps doing this every single day. She says he goes through a vision cycle. It's a cycle. He goes, anytime he gets angry, the same thing keeps happening. She also says sometimes he leaves her for the weekends, or she says he threw me out of the house for the entire weekend, and then when they make amends, he doesn't feel remorse for his action. She says that what keeps her from, he says that he keeps repenting. After all these actions, he keeps repenting, and this prevents her from leaving him. She says, I want your advice for a wife in a situation such as this.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala abdihi wa rasulihi al-ameen, nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. It is indeed a difficult situation, but unfortunately, no one can judge this situation better than herself. Mm-hmm. It is a little bit late in the day. 7 years it took her to write this question. She should have got someone to intercede, to interfere in such situations from day one.
Yeah, because she said the problem happened from the very first day.
And now with 2 children, it is not easy to advise her to divorce. But at the same time, with such an abusive husband, it's not easy to advise her to stay with him. So it's a complex situation. It's very complicated. And it is not easy to give a fatwa, because she is not asking for a fatwa. She's asking for consultation. My advice to her is to get someone who would give them both proper Islamic consultation, or counseling, that is, marriage counseling. Because it so appears that the husband is accepting this notion. He is repenting, though he's not showing much remorse, but he feels that he has done something wrong. And his repentance is good for him with his Lord, but it is not good for you with him. So you have to get a proper marriage counselor, a Muslim who has knowledge of Islam, so that he would cross the T's and dot the I's, as they say. And tell everyone what he has to do, and tell everyone about his mistakes. Having said that, it is also a difficult problem when you have the family interfering. The in-laws should always stay away unless it is a serious issue that they have to intervene. And it should be from both families, not from one family. But if the husband is a baby-like, every time anything happens, goes to his father and mother and complains and whines about it, this marriage is doomed to failure, because the man is unable to be a man. And it's not part of being a man to abuse your wife, or to hit your wife, or to beat your wife. And apparently, if I understood the question correctly, when she retaliates, she beats him. And that is why he gets scared and says, you eat my food and then you abuse me. What do you want her to do? Just watch you making her a punching bag and working out? This is not realistic. If you abuse someone, he has to abuse you back. And this is not healthy for any marriage. This is not healthy for any relationship. Therefore, I would advise her to get the proper marriage counseling between him and her. And I also advise her to make a review of her life. What are the wrong things she's been doing all of these years? Because definitely, as they say, it takes two to tango. Tango is haram in Islam, but it's the saying. It takes two to make such a problem. It's not always him. Definitely, she has a great portion of the blame. So she has to review her life. What are the things that I've been doing wrong? What are the things that are provoking my husband's anger? Can I say it in a different way? Couldn't I wait until he comes and sits and relax? Or should I fire up in his face the minute he walks from the door or through the door? A lot of the husbands work 9 hours or 10 hours trying to put bread on the, and food on the table. And the minute they come home, they are, wasted. They're completely exhausted. And the first thing they are met with this nagging, bossing, wife shouting at them, definitely problems would take place. Therefore, she has to make a thorough review of her life. But if she is met with a dead end, the husband is not willing to correct himself, no one is able to give them the proper marriage counseling, and she cannot take this no longer, then separation might be the last cure.
Okay, we have another sad question here from Sister Sadia. She says, my sister left home and got married to a Shia man without the consent of our father and mother. What should we do? Should we accept the marriage at the risk of corrupting our deen and akhirah, or should we leave her? Please help and pray for the akhirah and dunya of my parents and the rest of my family.
Well, first of all, the marriage is not valid. She is not considered to be married to him if her father did not accept this. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, said that there is no marriage, meaning that there is no marriage valid without the consent and approval of the guardian, who is the father, and the presence of two witnesses. Therefore, this sister's marriage is void. It's not correct. She is living in haram. And no matter how they sugarcoat it, it is zina. And she has to correct this. Second of all, it's their relationship with their sister. I would not advise them to get her back as she is married to this man in haram and to allow him to enter the house. Definitely, this is not something to tolerate or to be tolerant with. This is a major sin that she is committing. And as long as she chose this life of hers, then she should bear the consequences. We would not advise the family to take her in, as she is still living with this Shia man, and would probably affect her mind and brainwash her, and probably would try to influence the others in the family. Therefore, as long as she is still content and satisfied with her life, and she's not willing to change it to the better, I don't see any room or reason for them to get closer to her.
Okay, we have a question here from Brother Muhammad Abdul Azim from India. He says,